Hey, what's up everybody? Video 44 coming at you with another video. Alright, so I had to stop the last video because I had to get something from the front desk and didn't want to have an awkward moment where I'm sitting there waiting for them to grab it and I'm sitting there not saying nothing to you. So yeah, this is just a continuation. Essentially what I'm saying is talking about the Lakers in our center position and how I want us to fill the center, and I don't want the excuse of us not wanting Anthony Davis to play the center based on spacing issues to be in place, because I need people to understand that there's a whole guy in Cleveland by the name of Evan Mobley who doesn't space the floor. He's next to a guy that doesn't space the floor, and the Cleveland Cavaliers are perfectly fine out there running both of them at the same time a good portion of the basketball game. So we need to be able to do that so that Anthony Davis is not asked to play the center position against players like Jokic and, you know, some of the other heavier dudes that are out there coming into the league. So anytime anyone wants to tell me that Anthony can't play the four, I point at Evan Mobley. So that's pretty much what I wanted to say there. I think it'll be just fine if the Los Angeles Lakers do want to try to pick up DeJounte Murray, as we started the last video talking about. I'm not against it. I like his contract. I just don't want to give up futures to get him. But if I can find a way to maneuver to where I'm not giving up any future first round picks or current 17 overall pick, then I think getting his contract is probably an asset the Lakers should have. $18 million, 4 years. This is a really good contract for DeJounte Murray. Trae Young put the hourglass up a few days ago when we hired J.J. Redick. I think he's always wanted to be a Laker since he came into this league. But me matching $40 million and then putting the equity on top of that, picks and stuff, which is likely going to be demanded from the Atlanta Hawks to move Trae Young, it's just not something I really am excited about doing with only 3 picks in my arsenal. Now, if I was an OKC-like team, or San Antonio, or even New York Knicks, who have all the picks in the world, I would have no problem paying the price for Trae Young. I think he's a nice, young, star-level player with superstar potential. He'll fluctuate back and forth between those stats, those statuses. But for me, I just honestly look at him and say I can't afford him. Unless I can fleece them, I really can't afford to pay that price. I know some people will be like, well, we got 3 picks, we can just throw them in. I don't think you should be. Afford in my mind means what do I have left? If I'm throwing it all away, then I've done more than I can afford to do. That's kind of how I look at it. I personally don't think much is affordable if it involves first round picks when I only have 3 of them. I don't believe throwing in 1 first round pick to do this. I believe the price tag is valid. I believe our war chest makes it so that we can't afford to pay it. That's how I look at such things. So when people say, oh, it's going to cost you a first round pick to kind of move up, or if you want, I saw a deal today that had us taking back Wendell Carter, Jalen Suggs, a few other things as well, and then we were giving up the price tag, and then we threw on some picks. It's like, I can't afford it. It's not that I don't think those things are worth that. Those things are worth that, but can I afford it? No, not when I only have 3 picks. So for me, it's like I value picks so much more than everybody else because picks represent a whole entire year's worth of representation in the draft. If my year sucked, I got a very high pick. If my year was solid, I still like having a pick in the back of the draft, as we can clearly see right now at 17. So I'm going to remove myself from an entire draft 2 times, 3 times over to bring back a salary of a guy who's probably played exactly how much he's supposed to be paid. Like, if the contract ain't amazing and I can't trade him for those same opportunities in the draft, then I'm not happy with that, personally. I don't look at picks as just all throwing away picks. These are opportunities in the draft to get the best young talent possible each and every time you do this. I'm trading 1 pick. That's a whole year's worth of losing that could potentially be the first overall pick. That's a whole year's worth. You know what I'm saying? Do you guys know what I'm saying? Like, that's a whole year's worth of measuring my year's progress. So if my year sucked, I get my pick and it's going to be a great player. If my year was good, I get a solid player and, not so good, but possibly good. Either way, I'm not just trading away little things. This is you removing yourself from that particular draft. So it's like I'm not removing myself from next year's draft or the year after that's draft, y'all. I'm not doing that. Now, if I get somebody else's picks, let's say I make a trade with Orlando and they give me 2 or 3 of their first, it's not worth the same thing to me. Why? Because it's their pick. So if I have a bad year, it's not represented in what they got going on. That year is represented in them. That pick, rather, is represented in their year. So if I trade away that pick, it's not like it's preventing me from being able to have myself rewarded for ultimately having a poor year. It's essentially what a draft pick is. It's the one good thing you can get out of being terrible. So I don't care that I'm trading Magic's picks away. I do if they're a bad team. I do in general because I value draft picks, but it's not going to remove my progressive measurement rewarding from the equation of that particular year. You see what I'm saying? So that's how I look at it. It's like, yo, that is a valuable thing for teams that have, especially a team with an older core and a limited war chest. The chances of us not being very good is pretty damn high, especially if we keep doing this. So whatever year it is, you're looking at yourself saying, I'm not going to be very good that year, and my progress is going to be, or my ineptitude is going to be rewarding somebody else. Why would anybody think that's a frivolous thing to throw away? in such a difficult conference at that, in the Western Conference. Why would that be so easily maneuverable? Let's just throw 3 of those in. That represents 3 different years of whatever you could be. 3 different years where you could really suck. Or really need a certain piece. Look how bad we need a center. And we happen to have the 17 overall pick. We can fill that roster with that instead of overpaying for some dude. And you're trying to tell me that you don't see that you're going to have some needs going forward in that same vein every summer? You could fill those needs with those players. Maybe even luck out on a superstar depending on what goes on. And people are trying to give away those picks like they're nothing. Oh, we're throwing 4 picks so we can get Dorian Finney-Smith. Dorian Finney-Smith is not worth any of those problems. He's not worth one time of me not being able to have a bad year and then benefit from that. Not one time. Am I going to have a bad year and then be fine with the Brooklyn Nets being able to benefit from my bad year? He's not worth that once, twice, at all. He's not worth that at all. So if you're telling me I'm going to give away 4 picks to get Trae Young, that's 4 different years where I could potentially be horrible or need something in the summertime and can get a rookie contract to fill that void. Do you know how much cap relief it is to get a valuable rookie that can play a role? Do you know how much that helps your cap when that dude's making dirt cheap money and he's playing a real role? And people want to throw that in like it's frivolous. Well, just throw 3 of those in and get a start. No, idiot. You're going to put yourself in a position to have no representation for your ineptitude. That's likely going to be inevitable if you keep valuing things this way. This is why Phoenix is in a hole. This is why Minnesota, though they don't realize it, are in a hole. Because they don't have any of their own picks. These picks are going to other places. So when they have bad years, they're making some other teams super rich. We're going through it with New Orleans right now. I cannot understand why anybody would sign up for that when you've been dealing with that. You've been dealing with that. People aren't tired of that like I am. I don't understand it. I don't understand it. And I have to reiterate the point. The core is old. We got 40-year-old LeBron James. So the likelihood that one of these future years ain't going to be very good is high because of it. Because he's a whole superstar player that's likely just going to retire. Ain't nobody going to give you no picks for him retiring. Ain't nobody going to give you no superstars in his stead as a parting gift for him retiring in your uniform. That's value going to hell. And so the likelihood you not being very good when that happens is obviously very great. And you would have traded away what your reward would be for being a bad team. For that year, the year after that, the year after that. You're just putting yourself in a hole just so you can say you had 2024, you went all in. Like, do people not understand that? That's the problem that I have with some of y'all. Y'all don't understand that, but you keep on telling everybody to do this. 1 first-round pick represents an entire year's worth of progress, or lack thereof. I am not going to trade that 2 and 3 and 4 times over away just to end up matching salaries any damn way. Any damn way. I got to do that, and I got to pay this dude's $40 million salary in the form of more players going out? Hell no. And I'm seeing this meme going around saying, would you trade Anthony Davis for 4 first-round picks, J-Dub, and Cason Wallace? Well, the answer for me is no, because I value Anthony Davis and want to keep him on my team. But if I look to trade Anthony Davis, the answer is yes, because that's the type of return I want. I want 4 different other teams' chances. If they have a bad year, I get a player for that. A new and improved, state-of-the-art, brand new, spanking young player. 4 times over. Yes, I want that. I want that. That's exactly what I want for Anthony Davis. Picks. Picks for Anthony Davis. And if I can get a young player like J-Dub, of course. If I can get a nice stud like Cason Wallace, who hasn't even fully developed, of course. That's exactly the type of starting point that I want from my cornerstone franchise basketball player. So, for those who are wondering if I would make that trade, not in a nutshell. No, not if that's not the plan. If the plan is not to rebuild, I'm not just going to trade Anthony Davis away. But once we start talking about what I hope to receive for Anthony Davis, picks, friends. Lots of them. Yes. The answer is yes. It's exactly what you want. Something in the ballpark of multiple first-round picks that span out over several years. Hopefully from teams that are expected and projected to be bad those years. If they're all OKC picks, probably not, because those are not good first. But if they came from some Brooklyn or something like that, yes, you want, yes. Yes. If they come from the Suns, yes. So that's pretty much what I wanted to say, man. I've kind of run out of time since my other videos are uploading, but I wanted to complete that last video. And just kind of reiterate the importance of picks a little more so that people understand what it is they're giving away when you package 2 and 3 of those at a time. Those are 1 year, 2 year, 3 year. You're not a part of no draft. And when there's players in the draft that you really, really like, oh, I like that guy, you can't get them at all. Why? Because you gave them away in some stupid draft, some stupid trade that ultimately removed you from these drafts. So, yeah, let's stop doing that. Video 44. I thank you all for watching.